Hi everyone, and thank you for watching. What I want to do today is put together a tutorial for you on the citation longitude. Now, I'm not an expert at this aircraft. I have tried to fly it a couple of times, and I'll be honest, it was miserable. Couldn't do it and really struggled. So I took to YouTube to go out and do my best to find some tutorials. Found 4 or 5, all of them were awful, if I'm being honest. A lot of the people on YouTube at the moment with Microsoft Flight Simulator are YouTubers and gamers who want to make money. I'm a simmer, have been 15 years. Don't know everything, I'm not a real pilot, but what I do know is how the sims work and the basic stuff of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. So I want to bring that together into a tutorial and put my own tutorial together for the citation longitude and just show you the basics of how to use it. As I say, I'm not perfect, I'll probably make mistakes. You'll probably watch my video and go, oh, you shouldn't be doing it like that, but hey, each to their own. I found my own way of working with it, and yeah, so first things first, I've created a Simbrief flight plan, which I will drag over here. So if you've seen my tutorial, you know how to create a flight plan. If not, just go back and look at videos on the 30th. There's a tutorial of how to put it together. Just going to export. Today we're going to be going from London City to Birmingham. Sims loading nicely in the background, and just on time it jumps in. So let's jump in. We've got our citation. Actually, before we get into this, let's just go back. I want to go to my settings, and I want to turn off the voices. I don't want to hear the ATC. Right, okay, let's jump in quickly as we can. So the concept of the video is basically a tutorial for the citation longitude business jet. It's not edited, it's just put together as it is as we stand. So without further ado, let's just jump in. So I'm going to go to map. Citation's already loaded. We're going to load our flight plan from Simbrief. As I say, if you're unsure what I'm doing here, go back and watch one of my previous videos, show you how to put all that together. I'm going to change to a gate. We'll go gate number 1, nice and easy. We're not going to make any changes here other than we're going to make sure our live traffic is on and 18,000 feet is selected, which it is, and we'll click fly. Okay, welcome to London City at 20 to 9 on a bank holiday Monday, and there she is, the beautiful citation longitude. Actually, I've recently installed the new Orbix London, so we'll hopefully fly out over London and have a look at that as well. So, right, before I do anything, if it's dark, the first thing I do, even though it's going to have no value whatsoever where we stand, is before the torchlight goes out, I put the lights on at the top. Then come down, because as soon as you put your battery on, click the yoke to get rid of it. As soon as you put your battery on, the torchlight goes out. So turn on our batteries. I'm going to turn on our bus tie. I'm going to turn on our left generator, our right generator, our external power. Our AP generator. I'm not going to use external power. What I am going to do is start the APU. Okay, first things first, you want to change your nav source to FMS. That means that when we take off and when you switch on the autopilot, it will follow your FMS flight plan. you need to make sure you've switched it back to nav 1 for your landing, but we'll go into that when we get close to Birmingham. Next thing I like to do is speed bugs. Click all on and that will load in your speed. So your rotation speed today is 185. Okie dokie. And our radios, I'm going to pop in our ILS for Birmingham into nav 1 110.10, and I'm going to hit transfer. That now goes in nicely into the top, so I now know the ILS is done. Cool. Let me just double check to make sure that I'm happy. And page, there it is. Right, good. Right. He says in his Birmingham accent. Let's pop some lights on. So at the minute we're going to put our recog lights. We're going to put our wing lights and anti-collision logo on. We'll start our engines. Starting the engines on this is really easy. We're going to open the two guards. We're going to you can do dual engine start on this as well. We're going to start engine 2, and we're going to click run. We'll see that the engine is spooling up nicely. Oh, have I got the sorry guys, the ATC is pushing us back. I forgot I've got AI control on. So we'll just carry on, because the parking brake's on. He's not going to go very fast. In fact, we will just turn that off with Shift P to stop him pushing us back for a minute. Okay, next thing we're going to do is hit B, which is going to reset our local pressure. You can't set this to hectopascals on this flight, so it's inches. Cool. So what else do we want to do on here? We want to start the next engine, so again, engine starter, and click, and then you can't see because it's night, but there's a guard there, and there's a guard there. That's cool. Let's have a look. There we go, we're spooling up nicely. So the next thing I like to do is set my altitude. So I'm going to pop my altitude in at 18,000, which is our cruise altitude for this flight. Nearly there. Cool. We're going to select nav on here. We're not going to turn it on. We're going to select our VNav, and we're going to put the speed. We're going to just turn this on the in-ring to manual, and we're going to set our speed as 200, and I'll show you why in just a bit when we take off. This little jet is like a fighter jet, and when it takes off, before you know it, you're doing 300 knots. So what I tend to do, as soon as we've taken off, I engage the auto throttle, which will manage that. So we'll pop that to 200. So, flight directors on. I don't think you can select the yaw damper on this. I think it's already pre-selected. In fact, I don't think this one's got one. It's the CJ4 that's got one. Okay. The only thing I'm going to do before we go is we're going to jump into our procedures. We're going to wait for this to load up from our flight plan. What will be preloaded is our departure, our arrival, but not our approach. Not using ATC today, so I'm going to set the approach myself. Let's just come back out. Let's try again. As it preloaded it, just going to wait for it to pull it through. There we go, brilliant. Go back, click procedure, click approach. Just going to quickly load my flight plan, and our approach today is ILS 15. So load approach. ILS 15. Now can we choose a transition? Transition, I don't want BHX, I want Grove. Okay. Just make sure I haven't ballsed it up. I'm not used to this computer. So, departure, arrival, approach. Fantastic. Brilliant, that's good. We are good to go on there. Hopefully you've seen what I did, but if you've got any questions, simply pop them in. Right, we're going to pop our taxi lights on. Our guy's moved out of the way now. We're going to turn off our APU. Handbrake off. And now we are going to, where are we on our little map? If you can go to the outer ring here, you can zoom the map in and out as well. So just going to taxi straight down. I think we've got to go to the runway and backtrack at the bottom of there to take off. Yeah, we do. Okay, so we're already facing the right way anyway. So spacebar jumps you up a little bit to a little bit of a higher position. We're going to turn our rudder. We're going to give it some power. Cheers, Bob, for the pushback. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Right, let's go and pick up our green lights. Just shoot like a rocket, this thing. Thank God for illuminated green lights, otherwise I've no idea where I'm going now. It's dark. I find you can rotate in this aircraft after 160 knots effectively. Anything less than you'll stall as you lift up. You can wait till you're 180, but like London City is such a short runway, you might find yourself in the River Thames at the end of it. Quite like the look of the Canary Wharf over there, and the financial district. See the HSBC building. Okay, and we'll go Toga. So we're looking out for around 160, and as soon as we rotate, we're going to go Shift R. Shift R to activate the auto throttle. It's 120 knots, 30, 40, 50, 60, and rotate. Shift R. Gear up. Engine pull back now, so it's not shooting up to 300 flaps. That view of London, it's beautiful. Hit Z. We're going to hopefully switch on our autopilot. And then we're going to hit FLC. What FLC will do, it will manage our climb and try and balance the speed. I'll give you an example, a better example of that when we come to descend. We hold out for V and we just page back. You'll see that it's now going to track us back to our plan. Let's go back and turn off a minute. Have you over London? 13 miles to go till we get to Welland Garden City, and after Welland we're going to be heading to Delta 103 Lima, which is the Grove 1 Charlie arrival from Birmingham. little nifty tool as well if you're ever stuck. You can click on waypoint info, pop airport in, and you can pop in any. If you click select, you can type in, let's say, Birmingham, EGBB, enter frequencies, and then you can use the tab down, ILS runway, there's your frequency. So for all of your runways, all of your airport information is already built into here as well. If you're feeling kind enough, you can click like on the video, or if you do like it, or subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I don't want to be a YouTuber with, in this for money. What I would like to do is to help people and put together videos of what people want. Hopefully talking a simmer's language, not a gamer's language. But there we go. It would be most appreciated if you would subscribe. So we are 9.7 miles out. Okay. What we'll do, we'll start our descent down to 9,000. So I'll show you what we're going to do first. First things first, we're going to reduce our speed to 250.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Ignore the
gear.
landing gear shout.
Landing gear. Landing
It's because the throttles have idled
Landing
for a
gear.
minute. It'll soon
Landing
shut up.
gear.
We're now going to drop this altitude down to 9,000. Nothing will happen until we hit FLC. Now what that will do is it will manage the speed at 250 and descend. And it will keep the nose automatically lifted up and down to manage it around the 250. So as it starts to speed off, offset that 253, it'll lift the nose to bring the speed back down. And where it does struggle, don't be afraid to hit the speed brake. But it's doing a good job of slowing that back down. So just bring up our little VFR map and I'll show you our route. It's quite a nice route, so we're going to come into Bromsgrove, over Halesowen and Stourbridge, turn over West Brom, so Dudley, West Brom, Walsall, Sutton Park in Birmingham, turn and then 30% degrees, 30 degrees angle onto our ILS and in. Nice simple approach. In terms of profile, from memory we would normally keep, I haven't got the charts loaded, but we'd normally keep it 7,000 down to 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 in to intercept the ILS, but I'm just going off my flight plan today. So, as we're coming in, we'll pretend that our ATC has asked us to descend to 5,000 and speed to 200 or less. So you'll see that our rate of descent has slowed whilst the aircraft controls the speed down. Now what's really important on this point is when we get to Romeo 312 and we've turned, we need to go down to the computer console here, click home, back, where's it, and back again, and back again. We just change from FMS to nav1, otherwise you won't intercept the ILS. Okay. Now on this you don't click out of standard, so when you get to transition you just need to adjust to the local pressure. So I'm just going to use the B key, which resets for local pressure. I'll check it again for the runway. So here we come into Bromsgrove. Nice view of the that part of the West Midlands, and the big lines across here will be the M5 and the M42. nose area. That's where the M42 meets the M5. The M5 is the motorway that goes down to Devon and Cornwall that way, or the M6 Birmingham that way. You may wonder why I know all of this stuff. Quite simple, I live here. Now I guess if we were online with ATC, they would probably cut a few corners for us today, but I'm going to fly the full approach. Typically what has happened on VATSIM is, for runway 33, they'll normally bring up the right hand side downwind, turn base and straight back in, instead of coming all the way around. But I'm okay to go around today. So we're coming up on 5,000. We're going to make this right hand turn, and now we're going to descend to 4,000 if we can. And again we're going to use our FLC command. We go flaps 1. This ATC is going to ask us, we're just going to imagine it's asked us to speed of 180 knots or less. It's quite complicated to do as the aircraft is moving around. Now one thing I haven't learned how to do, and if anybody does know, great to let me know, is arming the speed brakes. If you arm them, I don't even know if you do, but I can't work out how to arm them. I know how to deploy them. So as we get to Romeo 289, we'll descend to 3,000. As per the charts for the approach. I did put my landing lights on, didn't I? Oh, naughty boy. Just off over to our left, you can't see it tonight, is Wolverhampton, little airport, Bobbington. In fact, you can see it on the map there. Okay, so ATC will imagine has just asked us to descend and maintain 3,000 feet, which we will be happy to oblige. Super, and as we get to Romeo 312 and do our final right turn before we intercept the ILS, we'll then send and maintain 2,000. Now, don't judge the landing, I'm still getting used to this aircraft. I've bounced it a couple of times at the runway, so I'm still not quite got it as butter yet. I'm getting there. there's a timing element of when you switch from FMS over to nav 1. So we're going to descend and maintain 2000 using the FLC command again. Once we've leveled out, what I tend to do is switch push in, which will set the autopilot to our current heading. We then come down here, switches to nav 1, and then as we get close, we'll engage approach. And now we've put it to nav 1, you can see that your glide slope has gone green on here, and you can see a green dot. The heading just going to slightly move us round onto that line. Okay, so at that point, let's engage approach. And if we've done this right, we will, at some point, onto the localizer. Fingers crossed, he says. There we go. And on the FMA, we've got lock. We've got glide slope in white. We are 3 nautical miles from Cedar. See the runway ahead. So, in this aircraft, I tend to gear down around now. We'll now bring our speed down to our 149 knots. Next stage of flaps deployed. There goes our glide slope. Full flaps. We can now set our go around altitude. Shift R, so auto throttle is off, so just keep an eye on the speed now. So manual throttle. Keeping it around that 149. Going up to 500 feet. Not sure what the green is on the horizon. There's definitely some bug there. Okay. That point, and we are at 250, our minimums. Autopilot off. I have control. This is where we cock it up. edges here and there. Gentle. Okay, we're gonna lift the. Oh, there we go, bouncing. We missed the line. We missed the line. I still need to get used to this aircraft. Reverse thrust and brakes. We'll use our rudder to bring us back. Like I said, don't judge. Okie dokie. And we'll clean up. Lift our flaps. Hey, any landing where you didn't die is a good one. That's my motto. I'm just going to find our taxiway. Got one coming up. Hopefully we'll have green lights for it. I don't know, we haven't. Where's the green lights?